Hello, John. Today we're going to talk about national service, also known as military service.
Good morning, Albert. Thank you very much. This is the 16th of March, the eve of our patron saint, Saint Patrick, who brought Christianity to Ireland in the year 432. And it took root in Ireland because the people had practiced a belief in some ways in a higher power. So it took root in Ireland to such an extent that in the next few hundred years Ireland became known as the Island of Saints and Scholars, and is reputed and considered to have brought civilization to Europe at that time in the form of the Christian and Catholic tradition that Europe, the civilization in Europe, were founded on. So I just sing a small little a small hymn about St. Patrick that's often sung on St. Patrick's Day.
So I just want to say you're making the connections though between a nation and national service. That's what you're more or less.
Right. Yes, because it gives a focus because this is a Christian country by and large, a Catholic and a Christian country. So the national hymn in regard to St. Patrick's goes like this, just to give a flavour of it.
No.
Hail glorious St. Patrick, dear saint of our isles, on us thy poor children bestow a sweet smile. Now that's the flavour of the Hail glorious St. Patrick, and it goes on for other verses, but that's the way it goes.
Okay.
So it is an honour to the birth of the Catholic or the Christian tradition in this country in the year 432.
Okay, so we go back to national service, and my first question is, does national service improve national security?
National service or military service, and a combination of both, makes good citizens, responsible citizens, for the young people that will be required to do either military service or national service, a combination of both. It gives them a purpose and a recognition of the requirements to be a good citizen.
Okay, I just want to interrupt you there, John. But would it make Ireland more secure?
Well, it would, because Ireland at the present time has a lot of social ills, and often contributed by young people. Young people apparently appear to overindulge in alcohol. Regretfully, some of the visitors to this country and the economic migrants that are here sometimes refer to this country as the country of drunken children. Now that is a terrible indictment of the perception of some of the visitors to this country. And the other problem with regard to it is that they don't seem to have an identity of the requirements for a good citizen. They do their own thing. They do not think of their fellow man or the country as a whole, or the need to improve the quality of life for the citizens of the country. And this is one way, military and community service, to deal with that severe problem that exists.
Do you think it promotes unity and patriotism? Do you mean we're in a very patriotic week this week?
Well, that's right. And of course, this is Lent for Catholics and Christians, perhaps of other denominations, that we take account of the important period before the crucifixion of our Saviour Jesus in Calvary on Good Friday, and his resurrection from the dead on Easter Sunday 3 days afterwards. So it is a very important time for people to reflect. Now,
so you do think that it's national service or military service creates a kind of a unity?
Well, it does. It creates a unity of purpose, and with the proper training and with the proper discipline that's required, it benefits the participant and benefits the country.
Okay. Do you think it brings about equality? For example, regardless of social status or profession or who your parents were, you'd still have to do national service?
Well, that's correct, because it has brought benefits to the countries that it's practiced in. For example, France is regarded as a very peaceful country. The citizens have a great love for their country, and it's evident when anyone visits that country. So that's very important for the people born in the country, the citizens of that country. It shows them the sort of the importance of respecting the facilities that are in the country. For example, just one example, Ireland regretfully has not got the cleanest image as regards the litter scattered in every road, town and village in the country. Visitors have often mentioned as one of their main faults the amount of litter. Now, this is something that's nearly unheard of in other European countries, and possibly because they have national service, which they call national service. It can be in the military, it can be in the community, but it has to be focused on the people that have to do the national service. The young people have to be prepared to do as they are ordered to do.
And which will also bring a sense of pride about their keeping the country clean, tidy.
It does, because we do know that while they're getting in this country now a good secondary school education and sometimes third level education by way of the universities and schools that cater for the various other skills that young people can avail of today. There are many advantages to the educational opportunities for young people, but there are also other requirements, and national service, it would be a vital role to foster that. If the political leaders have the will and the wisdom and the vision. That's the weakness in this country at the present time. But if a discourse or a conversation can be initiated about it, perhaps they will follow what is considered good rather than implemented it themselves.
Some years ago I spoke to an army sergeant in the Irish Army, and I suggested to him that like what you're saying, that we should have national service, military service for young people after perhaps when they leave school. His answer was that national service would be good for the person, but it would be bad for the army. In other words, that we'd be bringing in everybody and anybody into the army, which he said destroys the army.
He was very much mistaken, and I doubt very much if you get promotion beyond a sergeant. That was a very narrow view of the benefits of national service. Ireland has our military service. Ireland has been a neutral country down the years, and as such, it with the mandate of the United Nations takes peacekeeping efforts in parts of the world. People that would be have to do national service or military service might be able to partake in such events, and they would be just as effective as the full-time military, because they would have been trained and would understand what would need to be done. For example, the Auxiliary Defence Forces, known as the FCA, Forest Cushion Archul is the Irish, the FCA, that's a voluntary body for citizens to join, and they also provide escorts for visiting dignitaries. They also provide on St. Patrick's Day, they often parade, and they are trained, but this is on more of a voluntary basis rather than a national service, and it benefits those young people. So I'm suggesting that should be widespread for boys and girls.
Yeah, I think what scares a lot of people, especially young people who have no experience of the world, is that when they think of national service, they think of the military and they think of war. But of course, the national service will create jobs. They'd learn trades. They'd learn about healthcare, first aid. So it's quite positive.
Of course, it's very positive. There are many benefits, and of course, the community aspect of it would be just as important, because, as I've said, people that would be have to go, that would be required between the ages of 18 and 21 to be in the military service or the community service, or a combination of both. They would be under orders. And one of the functions in my book would be to, or in the view of the Christian and Jobs Action Party, would be that they would endeavour and be obliged to keep the country cleaner than it is. The fact of the matter is that visitors to this country constantly bemoan the litter problem that we have. It is absolutely disgraceful. Now, that's one example of what they can do. There are many other examples, but these are the sort of examples. Aside from the benefits to the young person, these are the benefits that the country might enjoy, and therefore subsequently those young people would not be indulging in the type of antisocial practices that they do indulge.
Okay. Should national service, should there be a restriction so that it's just Irish people? How would you allow everybody to have national service, for example, that comes into the country? Or what way would you work it?
One of the requirements would be that it would be an Irish citizen that would have been born in the country. We've exported too many of our citizens down the years. Now we have numerous economic migrants to this country, also asylum seekers and various assorted people whose command of English is very limited. It wouldn't be part of the requirements in this country for people from other jurisdictions, unless they have been here for a minimum of perhaps 20 years and they have assimilated the culture. Regretfully, so far as one can observe, they are not doing so. They are sticking among themselves and communicating in their own language.
Some people would say that national service goes against personal freedom.
Well, you see, this is the excuse that people that have no belief in anything come up with.
Lazy people.
It's hypocritical. Yeah. It's self-evident if they have any problem, discuss it with their European neighbours who already have national service and have it successfully. For goodness sake, it's quite evident that this country could do with national service because of the amount of young people that have no hope or vision or the rest of it. It helps a young person to focus.
So what you're really saying is that maybe people should look at the examples, the positive examples of national service abroad in different countries, and reflect upon that.
Correct. For example, I was in the FCA when I was a young person, and it did me a power of good.
Okay, that's great. Thanks very much, John. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.